Hello friends, and welcome back for another Tuesday with me. This week I have something super fun that I'm going to share with you. I always bring a bottle of wine when I visit someone's house, either for dinner or for a housewarming. You want to get to someone's house and have a nice chilled bottle ready to drink. Instead, you get to their house with the wine in a paper bag. Am I right? A paper bag. And that paper bag does not keep your wine cold. No, it does not. No, sir. No way, no how. Okay. What I did is I made myself a wine carrier bag. You want me to come to your house for dinner now, don't ya? What I will do is I will share with you how I made my wine carrier bag so you can make your own. All I have to do is show you the measurements, and all you have to do is stick around. I'm Nye with Ellie and Matt. Let's go, friends. So glad you came back. This is the bag that I created all by myself. I took a bottle of wine and I measured it to determine how big my bag should be, and it's a perfect fit. And not only can I fit a bottle of wine in there, I can also fit a bottle opener as well. And I put some nice poly in there so that it helps the bottle stay chilled. Isn't that smart? I thought so. I'm not a genius and I'm not perfect, but once in a while, I get it right. I'm gonna put this away because it's not time for this now. So, this is my little bag. And I have a little flap that comes over to the front. And I actually got the D-rings right this time. I know somebody pointed out, hey sis, you know you're supposed to sew those on first, right? Listen, I am not perfect. So when I read your comments, I learn. I have not taken your comments for granted. I love them and I read every single one because we're friends, right? Now, I used the D-rings correctly and I sewed up this really cute bag. So let me show you what you're gonna need and how you can make your very own wine carrier bag or best friend bag. What you're gonna need is a little bit of woven fabric. I would say probably about slightly over half a yard, okay? And you're gonna want it to be a square yard, not one of those long skinny ones. Skinny yards, who uses those? Anywho, you're gonna need that. You're going to need some of this, what is this called again? You're gonna need some of this craft interfacing. This will make your bag nice and sturdy. You are going to need some low loft polyester batting. Now the reason why we want to go for polyester is because polyester is known to maintain temperature better than the cotton. Okay, so make sure you get polyester. You're going to need a couple of D-rings. You're going to need a couple of buttons. If you choose not to use the D-rings, then I would suggest hand sewing the strap on with buttons because they're cute and fashionable, right? That way your ends don't have to be all naked. You'll need a marker or a pen. You'll need a rotary cutter and some scissors. You'll also need your fabric scissors, which I don't have on my table, but you are going to need them. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, don't come for me. I forgot to tell you that you're gonna need paper. You need paper in order to create this template. Now, it's very easy. It's all squares and rectangles. So what I'm going to do is put a picture here. So that you know exactly what measurements you need. And when you're done creating that template, this is what you will have for your bottle piece. You will need 2 cuts in woven, You will need 1 cut in the polyester batting and 1 cut in the interfacing. You will need a top flap piece. This top flap you will need in the outer fabric, O-U-T-E-R, not O-U-T-T-E-R like I said in my last post. So you will need 1 in the outer and 1 in the inner fabric, 1 of the batting, 1 of the interfacing. You will need a front tuck strip. This is basically so you have something to tuck your flap into when your bag is closed. You can actually use ribbon if you like. You will need 1.5 strips, 1.5 inch strips of interfacing, which you're going to use for your strap. This is a 36-inch piece, which is 3 inches wide. So you'll only be interfacing half of that lengthwise. This piece is what will hold on to your D-rings. You will need 2 of these in whatever coordinating color that you like, or you can just use a gross grain ribbon if you like as well. You'll be interfacing these to make them nice and sturdy.
Nobody wants a floppy bag.
Step 1, you're going to want to iron your interfacing to your outer woven pieces of fabric. Okay, I'm back. All these pieces are interfaced. I have my bag strap, I have my D-ring straps here, I have my bag body here. Now, quick note, when you do the bag body, if you have a fabric that is directional, be sure to add a small lip to the main body of your bag and cut another piece for the tail, and also add about 1/4 inch of length to that so that you can sew them together here centered on the bottom. Reason being is because if you can see, these foxes are facing up, but when this comes up, it's also facing up. If I had left these facing the same direction as the main bag, they'd be upside down. So that would be weird. Like, why? It's like when you make a circle dress, like a circle skirt, and you use a directional fabric, and then one side of the skirt is cute and the other side is like, why did she sew that upside down? You know what I mean? Yes, you get what I mean. Okay, so you want to make sure that you do that. And this is why I added a little extra to the bottom, but I don't need that anymore. Now, what you will see is that there are sections here. What you want to do is mark them off so that you know where to fold your patterns. I mean, essentially, it's 4 inches, right? So you want to fold this in the very center. That's going to be 4 inches. And the interfacing is going to help you with that. And you want to fold this side over as well. Another 4 inches-ish. Okay, not really-ish, it's 4 inches. You want to fold that over, all right? Now, take care because this is the bottom and this is the back. So, make sure that you don't fold, like you only fold this piece at 1, 2, 3, 4 inches, okay? That way, the bottom of your bag is the right size. You'll know the difference. Like if you do that and you have excess, like a ton of excess here, you'll know that you did not fold it in the right place. So you want to fold that at 4 inches as well. And you'll see that on the diagram for the pattern, like where to fold it. Okay. There. So now you can almost see this coming together, right? So when you sew it, this and this, first of all, you're going to sew it right sides together, not like I just did, like that. So you take this along the fold and you will sew it here. Right along this line. So with the pattern right side up, take this bottom corner and your little 4-inch mark and meet them together. And since you folded it, it already wants to origami itself, right? So you can just fold that up and clip it right there on the corner, okay? And just like that. Now beware and make sure that you trim your interfacing, because if your interfacing is slightly outside the border of your fabric, there's a possibility that you may not catch your fabric when you sew it because it's only 1/4 inch seam allowance. So what you want to do next is take the other side and fold it up to the corner there as well, okay? And clip it. Now I'm doing this to give you an idea of how you will sew the bag. That way it's not confusing. Here you will bend this when you're done with those. This will bend up. These sides will come up. These will get sewn around here. Now I know that I have excess here. I did that on purpose because I had to cut a longer piece in order to have enough for the flipping of the fabric tail there. Okay, so when you're done, what you'll have is a rectangle. See? Now, don't forget, these folds here on the side, you are going to also fold there to make a nice, neat corner for when you flip it inside out. Okay? So, you should have this here, just like this. Once you have this sewn up, this flap is actually going to come up and over the front. So you're going to want to make sure that you have it so that when it comes over the front, it comes over in the right direction. Okay? Really quickly, I want to make note that when doing the strap, you're only going to interface half. So this way, you will fold this strap in half. It's 3 inches and the interfacing is 1.5 inches wide. So when you fold it like this and iron it flat, you'll know exactly where to put your interfacing. So what you're also going to do then is fold the outer edge into the center, and also the interfacing makes this a lot easier. And then you're going to fold each outer, like both outer edges into the center to meet each other at the very center, and then you're going to fold them over one another. And what that gives you is a nice, neat little strip to put on your bag. Then after that, we're going to take our D-rings, place them inside, and you want to do a nice, healthy stitch. You want to fold it over by about, I don't know, 3/4 inch, an inch, whatever tickles your fancy, just like that. Sew it across here. Okay, I'm back.
Oh snap, I came back.
I went ahead and I sewed the inside of this. It kind of looks like a really tall milk carton. I have the bag all sewn. I have the bottom creases sewn and the side creases and seams sewn. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and flip it right side out. So what you will do now is place this to the side. Not in the naughty spot though. All right, this is the strap. I went ahead, I folded it, I interfaced it, folded it, and then I sewed all the way around on both sides. This and this. And then I flipped it over about 1 inch on the D-ring. And I did that with both the strap and with the little connector piece that's going to go on that bag. You can zigzag sew it in here to keep it nice and neat, or you can sew like a straight line back and forth a few times to keep it there. Also, if you have this raw edge here, you can flip it in and then sew it. I'm choosing to not be choosy this time, but generally you want to roll that in and then sew across because you really don't want this nasty naked fraying part kind of hanging, okay? But in haste, I forgot and didn't do it. So you do the same thing on this side. And see, on this is what I showed you. You roll the bottom frayed edge in, and that way when you sew it to the bag, you don't have that naked kind of raw edge hanging out there. Please forgive me for saying naked like 1,000 times. I'm sorry. I know some of y'all
Like, oh, she said naked!
Now I'm going to tell you something about the flap. I don't personally like it square. So I'm going to actually round mine out a bit, but you can leave yours square if you like. It's whatever makes you happy, you know. Now that I have this done, I have my inner piece here, right? And you see I have the batting on top of it. You don't have to go crazy. You can just zippity-doo-dah right over this, because what you want to do is you want to kind of quilt this batting to the woven fabric so it doesn't feel the need to move around when you're trying to wash it. I'm going to quickly go ahead and sew this down onto my fabric, and then I'm going to do the same thing I did with this. I'm also going to quilt this piece and with right sides facing, sew along the edge of this piece as well. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, now that you have the inner shell sewn together and it has some nice comfy batting around it, you're going to take it and stuff it into your outer. Now, with the top of this bag, you have some options. You can use ribbon, fold it in half, and put one half on the inside, one half on the outside, and sew along the edge. That's what I did with my first bag, and I kind of thought it was quite cute. So I'm probably gonna try and do it with this one. Or you can take a strip of fabric, again, and just kind of, I'm gonna eyeball it and just clip off what I don't need. Cut a 3-inch wide strip. By the length, like I said, I'm just gonna eyeball it, and then fold it like you did for your strap. But you don't really have to interface it unless you want to, okay? Interfacing it is going to keep it from being super floppy, so that's totally up to you. This is the piece that you use for your flap. Now, if you know your flap is here, that this is going to be here. All I do is I fold it inward, just so that it meets the creases here on the bag. Nothing super fancy, and just sew a straight line across to keep it on there. Easy peasy, a lemon squeezy. Okay, all right, so same thing with your straps. You're gonna take your little strap pieces, and what I like to do is I like to place my strap so that this first sewing line, which connects my D-ring, is just above the top of the bag, right? And then just sew down, across, and back up. What this does is it gives some sturdiness to your bag. If I only sewed it down at the bottom, this strap is gonna go, hey everybody, we don't want that. We want it to go straight up so it can look super nice. Now, I'm not gonna do that yet. I'm gonna do that after I get the inner rim sewn on. Another option you have is, I chose to top stitch this piece. You can also take a coordinating piece of fabric or ribbon and top stitch it to the edge of this flap. Super cute if you want like just a cute little contrast. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these things done, which is I'm gonna sew the flap to the bag. I'm going to take my fabric piece, I'm gonna interface mine, and sew it along the upper edge. I'm going to sew on my little flap strap is what I'm going to call it, and then I'm going to sew on my bag strip. Okay, and then I'll be right back to show you how super cute and adorable this bag is and how easy it is for you to make one so you can bring your friends nasty wine. Okay? Okay, don't bring some nasty wine. I mean, you could fill it with water bottles. I don't know. Whatever floats your boat, okay? All right, give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay, so now we have 2 bags. Get your bottle of bubbly. You are ready for a party with your friends. It ain't Tuesday. I was late. Shame on me. Don't come for me. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope that you make one of these bags and enjoy it with your wine and your friends. And I hope that during this week you find happiness and joy while you sell other things.